you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I suspect that this will likely be one of the final times I'll get to speak in this amazing place. What an honor it has been. I come from southwestern Ontario, a little place called Denfield that you can't find on a map. And all my life, all I ever wanted to do was farm. And so, for those that have ever had a dream and you lived it, that was my dream. I graduated from Agriculture College and had the great opportunity to take and become a dairy farmer and a cash crop farmer. The opportunity where in my life we exported cattle nationally and internationally. But I also remember at that time the 80s. And for those of us that were in the business and expanding our business and buying farms and those types of things, 23% interest was a little more than a challenge. If you were retired, it was a blessing. I was a long ways from being retired. But I got to tell you, there were major bumps in the road. But I'd also at this time had been married to this amazing woman called Barb. And so, over those years, she's been with me, and together, we went through those times, we survived it, we became stronger, along with our 3 children. You know, over 35 years ago, I got a call, and I was asked if I would sit on and become a fence viewer for Lobo Township. I won't go into the details because nobody likely knows what a fence viewer is. But then following that, I got a call if I would sit on planning board for the township. And so then I went and got asked, we just finished actually planting soybeans. And my counselor drove in the yard and he said, Bev, I'm not running this fall. Would you run in my place? After 20 years, being a counselor, then deputy, and then for 16 years as being reeve and mayor, and then warden of the county, it was time. It was time to step back. But at that time when that call came for the fence viewer, little did I know that it would be the beginning of a political career, which was a bit of a challenge because Barb had indicated when we got married that this would be a great idea to get married, but I'm never going to marry a politician. But at any rate, she has been there with me all of this time. Never in my life did I ever think that I would be in politics. You know, it was later on, then after 20 years in politics, I got this municipal. Some people showed up at my door and they said, Bev, we'd like you to consider putting your name in to run in for the Conservative Party of Canada. And I said, you know, not on my radar screen, never has been. But I said, I told Barb, and she said, well, I think we need to pray about this. Because this is the same beautiful woman that had talked to me many years before about not being in politics. We prayed about it. Folks, that has been one of the solid things in our lives and in our marriage is prayer. And she said to me, whatever your decision is, I'll be there with you. I ran in 2004 and lost, and you know, that was good. Not many people would say that. But there's things that happened in that 2 years before 2006 that I'm actually thankful that I was at home with our family. And then on January 23rd, 2006, the people in Lambton Kent, Middlesex allowed me to be the Member of Parliament for Lambton Kent and Middlesex. I got to tell you, there should never be an election in the winter. Not in Canada, anyway.
Especially for 56 days.
But at any rate,
That was what it was, wasn't it?
for those that have been through this, you have no staff, you have no office, and as I found out, I didn't actually have, well, what I did have was limited understanding of what the load would be. What the load would be with this job. I referenced it as being like trying at the start, like trying to drink water out of a fire hydrant. But you know, like after a while, you get the hose smaller, and then you get to where you put a cup under it, and you can nourish and drink the water. But it does all come together. I'm thankful and I'm privileged that I served under the Right Honorable Stephen Harper, a man of wisdom and a man of integrity. And during that time, we all have our things. And I was so fortunate. I had two motions that I had, the private members' motions, that actually became legislation. And of course, the first one was around the focus on agriculture. And that was the harmonization of the science for the registration of agriculture inputs. And then the next one was a motion that would end up, because of my colleague from Grasslands, that would establish the Office of Religious Freedom. And that would be dealt with through the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and that was to fight religious persecution around the world. And what an honor it was to have representatives from parties in this House support me during those motions. So now we have a new leader who I believe has a new, clear vision for Canada, and I believe will become the Prime Minister in October. I want to say thank you to, I'm going to say Kathy, because I can't remember your writing, for the prayer breakfast that we have on Wednesday morning. What a stabilizer it is for those of us that have a strong faith. Thank you. I want to thank, after nearly 14 years, I could describe this as a walk in my life, if it were not for the amazing people that come around you. And that, my friends, is what makes it a journey. I want to say special people in my life. My wife, Barb, and our 3 children, Cheryl, Craig, and Chris, and our 10 grandchildren who we'll get to spend much more time with. I thank the incredible people that became my staff over the years and those that have carried me through. Yvonne Hyundai, Pat Davis, who have been there since day one. Stephanie Catrice, Todd Gerd, Sarah Brown, my corporal in Ottawa here. And for all of those staff that have worked for me, you made a mark for your life in my life. Thank you very much for that. How do you thank your neighbors and your friends? For those that just do the things when you're not there, they look after your place and take care and make sure that Barb is safe when I'm not there. I hope thank you is enough. To an unsung hero, quite honestly, folks, he would be embarrassed, but that is to a friend and an employee, Larry Weatherhead. Who carried a lot of the farm workload while I wasn't there over the years. Thank you. To my colleagues in this place of all color parties, thank you for your friendship that we've built and sustained. So, now, I say thank you. Thank you to all of those that, from the bottom of my heart, to the people that supported me, and also to those that didn't, but actually put up with me. So I passed the torch, and I know my time is up. So I passed the torch to Leanne Rood, my candidate from Lambton Cat, Middlesex in October 2019. May it be held high. Thank you. May God bless each and every one in this Parliament, and may God bless this great country of Canada. Thank you.